Tupac found himself in a similar dilemma. Like Prodigy, he had a cultured mother who raised him to be incredibly informed about arts and politics. Tupac didn't grow up writing raps. He grew up writing introspective and revolutionary poems. He was exposed to the same kind of energy as Prodigy. I always felt Pac and Prodigy were art students who adopted thugging as a theme. Instead of embracing all of the culture and pride they had been exposed to, they tried to run in the opposite direction. By doing that, they ran into a trap. In Prodigy's case, it meant getting lured into a battle with Jay-Z he could never win. Once Jay sniffed out that Prodigy was only representing the theme, he knew how to batter his public perception. Pac paid a much heavier price. By raising the thug flag so high, he sent out a very dangerous signal, one that attracted all of the real thugs to him. Once they were present, there was no way that he could control that energy. It would have been difficult for a true gangster, but for an art kid like Pac, it was outright impossible. It was that energy that ended up getting him killed. Prodigy and I were close friends, and I miss him a lot. He was such an interesting and well-rounded dude. Every conversation I had with him taught me something new. If I have one regret, it's that I didn't push him harder to let go of the thugging thing and get closer to his true roots. If he had done that, it not only would have revived his career, but also enhanced the overall state of hip-hop. It would have shown a new generation of rappers that it was okay to embrace their background, no matter where they came from. Let people be honest about themselves. There was a time I didn't understand the importance of letting people be themselves. Back in the early 2000s, G-Unit's in-house DJ was a guy named Who Kid. In addition to playing, one of Who Kid's jobs were putting out mixtapes, which were extremely popular at the time, and played a very big role in creating G-Unit's buzz. One day, Who Kid was talking to an A&R guy at Atlantic Records and happened to notice an unreleased new single from Fat Joe's Terror Squad on the guy's desk. Who Kid knew it was a valuable exclusive, so when the A&R guy wasn't looking, he stole it. Of course, Fat Joe, Big Pun, and the rest of the Terror Squad were not happy when their song leaked on Who Kid's next mixtape. They wanted blood. So when they saw him at a club a few weeks later, they immediately tried to grab him and stomp him out. Who Kid was from Queens, but from Queens Village, which isn't quite as tough as Southside. Someone from Southside would have taken that ass kicking just to make sure they got in a few licks themselves. Not Who Kid. When he saw Terror Squad coming for him, he ran away fast as he could. Those Terror Squad guys didn't even lay a finger on him. Who Kid couldn't run forever, though. Eventually, Big Pun caught up with him and actually threw him in the back of a van. Who Kid managed to talk his way out of it, though. Usually, hearing that one of your crew had avoided an ass whooping would be cause for celebration. Not in the G-Unit. Instead, I was outraged when I heard what Who Kid had done. Yo, bro, they're telling me you ran from Terror Squad. I said. Yeah, I did, he replied. What? I asked incredulously. Are you a pussy? Yes, Who Kid quickly replied. Yes, I am. I was floored. I literally didn't know how to respond. Where I was from, you never ever wanted to admit you were afraid. Once you did that, you were food. Being a coward ran counter to everything I'd been taught growing up. It was like telling a kid that'd been raised in the church that there was no God, or telling a kid who grew up in Chicago in the 90s that Michael Jordan was a bum on the court. Nothing short of blasphemy. Evidently, Who Kid's experience was a little different from mine. He didn't mind being seen that way. The difference in perspective left me at a loss. How could I possibly have someone representing G-Unit who had no problem being thought of as a pussy? My initial reaction was to fire him on the spot, to give him the proverbial bus ticket home. I might come across as reckless sometimes, but the truth is I don't like to make rash decisions unless my environment forces me to. No one was pressing me, so I took a moment to consider the possibility I was overreacting. What exactly was Who Kid's job with G-Unit? Was it to fight? No. His job was to play music, get the crowds hyped, and he was great at that. Who Kid was a pro at getting the energy turned all the way up. His job was also to put out mixtapes that would keep G-Unit buzzing in the streets. Obviously, he took that job very seriously. What did it really matter if he was afraid to fight? Not much at all, I had to admit. Who Kid never got that ticket home. In fact, I came to respect him for being honest. It would have been easy for him to say something like, nah, son, I'm no pussy. They're just saying I ran. I was about to light those guys up, but they dipped before I could get at them. A lot of people have lied to me over the years like that, claiming they were about to handle things they never had any intentions of touching. They talk tough because they thought that's what 50 Cent wanted to hear, not because that's what was in their hearts. Sure, 50 Cent wants to be surrounded by guys who aren't intimidated. Those kind of guys have always been around and always will be. Curtis Jackson, on the other hand, has come to understand that he needs different types of energy on his team. People who don't always seek out conflicts, but can get things other ways. I want both types of people on my team. All I need to know, who is who? The situation with Who Kid is when I learned that as a leader, I have to empower the people under me to be who they are. If people feel there's only one energy that I'll respect, that limits what we can do collectively. Who Kid gave me his truth. And because of his honesty, we've enjoyed a very fruitful relationship for almost 20 years. Another person who was very honest with me was Jimmy Iovine, who ran Interscope when I was selling millions of records. Jimmy was comfortable working with gangsters and making music to reflect their lifestyle, but he was very clear that he was no gangster himself. If the conversation ever turned to serious street business around Jimmy, he'd quickly tell everyone, hey, watch what you say around me because I'm a rat. Don't tell me anything because I'll definitely rat you guys out if I have to. A lot of people used to laugh when he said that because it sounded so ridiculous to those of us who grew up on the street. We were taught that snitching was the very last thing you ever do, let alone admit to. But I appreciated Jimmy's candor, even if some found it a little hypocritical. Hey, be a gangster in the songs, just not around me in real life. I'd rather know where a man stands